we are observing Kartik Vrata, how during Kartik month there are many special practices. One of them is also to hear about Gajendra Moksa. We heard about description of that huge mountain, Trikut mountain, 80,000 miles long, high and wide, and all that beautiful surrounding and everything, and demigods doing sports in many caves. And we also heard that ferocious animals, when Gajendra was going, all big ferocious animals, they were fleeing out of fear, just getting the scent of his body. But small animals, being in his shelter, they were moving freely there. And now Gajendra is going towards that lake, the garden of Varuna, as was his custom. It was not that this was for the first time, but this time it happened. So I have to open. There are many trees and they are producing flowers and fruits at all times. And when Gajendra was moving towards there, he did not go by regular road, but he would make his own road by destroying everything in front of him. He was very powerful. And we also heard it is very astonishing that that whole mountain was trembling when Gajendra was walking due to his weight. So you can understand how powerful he was. So from a distance, he could smell the pollen of the lotus flowers carried from the lake by a breeze. Surrounded by his associates who were afflicted by thirst, he quickly came to the lake as was his custom. Vigahya tasmin amritambu nirmalam hemaravind utpala renu rushitam papo nikamam nija pushkarodritam atmanam adabih snapayan gata klama. The king of the elephants, bathing in that water, drank with the tip of his trunk the cold, clear, sweet water which was mixed with the pollen of lotus flowers and water lilies. Bathing himself with the water, he felt relieved of fatigue. Sa pushkareno drita shikarambu bhir nipayayan samsnapayan yata grihi grini karenuh karabhamscha durmado nachashta krichram kripanoja mayaya. Like a human being who lacks spiritual knowledge and is too attached to the members of his family, the elephant, illusioned by the external energy, had his wives and children bath and drink the water with water raised by his trunk, without considering it an endeavor. So this is one of the important verses. One jiva who lacks spiritual knowledge about who he is, to whom he is related, is enveloped by Maya, then he will think like this. These are my wife, my children, my all this. This kind of relation he will feel and he will be attached. And although they did not request him, but he, out of attachment, he bathed them with his trunk. He took the water and also gave them that water to drink, and he did not feel it as some kind of effort or trouble due to that attachment. Our Gurudev explained, when there is relation, then there can be love, service. Otherwise, we are not inclined to. But there was one brahmachari in our mat, and whatever service they requested him to do, he would not do. That, no, I cannot, and all the time trying to avoid like this service. So ultimately he could not remain in the mat. Then he got married, and then when he was married and with children, then he was doing everything. What he did not want to do in the mat, like cooking, going to market, cleaning, nothing he wanted to do, but in the house he was doing everything. Also earning money, everything. Why? Because he felt that attachment. These are mine. So then that service. So as long as we don't realize who am I and that I belong to Krishna, Krishna is mine, I am his, we will not be inclined to serve him. But we will do with material relations, will do. But one who will realize his eternal relation with Krishna, he will serve Krishna and he will see all as related to Krishna. And he will have that type of relationship with all others. So this is different. One is in Maya, one is in knowledge, and one will produce suffering, one will produce absolute bliss. Because that function is already there. It can be properly used or misused. So here, Shukadev Goswami made this point that like a human being who lacks spiritual knowledge and is too attached to the members of his family, and without considering it as an endeavor. Also, when I am not having a relation with Radha Krishna, then some little service is given to me and I do it, then I think I did so much service I did. But if one has love, then he will always feel I didn't do anything. He will all the time do, and without considering it as a trouble. And he will do much and he will always feel I did not do enough. I did not do much. But if there is no relation, you will feel so much. Like Madhavendra Puri, he was more than 80 years old that time when he was in Govardhan, and Gopal appeared. Then Gopal also told him, you will have to bring me Malayaja sandalwood from Puri. Immediately Madhavendra Puri was ready. At that time there were no trains, no cars even, no flights, nothing. You have to walk or go by bullock cart. That is also not going very fast, and it is all the time jerking. It is not so easy to travel in those times. So you know where is Brindavan, where is Puri. Gopal ordered, he immediately was ready. and with blissful mood he started immediately, because so happy to get the service of his Krishna. So also Indradyumna Maharaj, he is a king, and Jagannath would personally order him how he should serve him with sandalwood and all this, and he did not feel it as a trouble. We, means I, who don't have a relationship with Krishna, I feel any kind of service to Krishna as a big trouble. Or if I at all do something, I think I did so much. So that is depends on the level of realization, of relation, and with whom you are related, actually, how. We are all interrelated with all jivas, that is true, but in reality, in relation to Krishna, not as wife, husband, son, father, these are all illusory, and they're temporary, illusory. And we are not to serve or love separately. Then frustration will come. We will become attached, and when that will finish, we will be disturbed. And it will finish, because it is temporary. All these relationships are temporary. Only a real relation is with Krishna, eternal, and with all jivas coming from him, in relation to him. That relation is not husband-wife. That is, I am of Krishna, he is of Krishna, he belongs to Krishna. So we have to come to that platform of realization, then that will give fulfillment. But as long as I am in material conception, then service out of that material relation will ultimately bring suffering, frustration in due course of time. And also maximum happiness you get is mixed happiness and temporary. Also our Parangurudev, we heard from Gurudev, he went to some place for preaching, and he will be for some time away, like maybe a few weeks or so. So that time there were not so many mats, our Chaitanya Guru. So main was that Calcutta, rented house, and Parangurudev made one, means he brought one hand fan. You have to turn it and it will fan. So then he went, and when he came back, he saw that they put one electric fan there. And they thought Gurudev will be very pleased. Then Parangurudev saw, intentionally I put that fan, hand fan, so that they will engage their senses in the service of Krishna, by which they will be purified and will get attachment to Krishna, but there is no such inclination to serve. Everything should be like this, and we will only sit, sleep and eat. So he said those days when brahmacharis, they were ready to serve, they are gone now. He was disappointed, because during the time of Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they were all very eager. They would do all kinds of services, very eager to serve Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagavan. And here Parangurudev was disappointed. Those days are gone. So when you engage your senses in the service of Krishna, you will become attached to him. Otherwise, your senses will not sit idle. If you will not engage for the service of Krishna, they will be engaged for something else. And you will be attached to that. So in order to change that propensity, Parangurudev brought that hand operated pen. But so, and cooking also, Gurudev used to repeat during Kartik Vrata, you see how Radharani is always cooking. But we don't want to cook for Krishna and for devotees. We think it is very difficult because we have no relation. But when we go to house with material, then we do everything. So this realization of our eternal relation with Krishna, we can get by the grace of bona fide Guru when we submit to him and follow his instruction, then we'll realize. Tam tatra kaschin nripa deva chodito graho baliyam charane rushagrahit yadrichayevam vyasanam gato gajo yatha balam soti balo vichakrame. That does not mean that the devotee will neglect everyone, reject everyone, and torture everyone like this. No. As Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained, when I surrendered to Krishna and I realized, then I saw this is not my house. This house belongs to Krishna. These are not my family members. They all belong to Krishna and all property is his. So I will maintain this house as a service to Krishna, and I will also have a relation with them because they, in a way, that they are servants of Krishna. In that relation, I will maintain and serve as servants of Krishna. That knowledge we have to get. It is not enough only to theoretically hear and understand like this. We have to feel that, realize that. By practice, then that will be proper action. Exploitation or renunciation, both are wrong. They will bring suffering. But dedication for Krishna and for his servants, that is only natural for Jiva. That will give bliss. O king, by faith, a strong crocodile, angry at the elephant, beat the elephant's leg in the water. The strong elephant, put into danger by fate, then showed his prowess. So our Gurudev explained, it was not the first time that he went to drink water there. Many times before he went, but this time that fate, that prarabdha karma came. That is given by Krishna. We don't know what we did in the past, what will be in the future, and why we are getting this now. It is given by Krishna. And at the appropriate time it will come. That Krishna knows. And he's giving. So it is his mercy, but we are not seeing. We see as cruelty because we have some other desires. Once Dhritarashtra asked Krishna, why did I have to suffer this, that all my 100 sons were killed? I did not do any sin. In this life and in my previous life, I did not do any sin. For 100 lives back, I did not do any sin. Why I had to suffer this? Then Krishna said, yes, it is true. But in 101 birth back, you killed some birds unnecessarily, children. And for that reason, you had to suffer this now. Then Dhritarashtra asked, okay, but why after 100 births? Then Krishna said, because first you had to do all those pious activities so that in this birth you could get 100 children. It is not so easy to get 100 children, but you got, and because of your pious activities in those 100 births. So now when you have 100, then that happened. So when Krishna will give certain fruit, it is also in astrology, it is seen at what period what you will get. Or some, they got suffering during beginning period of their life, so for that life they are already more free after, in later. But some, they have nice first period, but later on they will get much suffering. When it will come, we cannot know, but Krishna knows. And it is His grace, and we are all reaping the fruits of our actions. So here Gajendra, at this time it happened, by the will of Krishna. This crocodile is only instrumental, not the cause. Our past actions are the cause, not others. Others are only instrumental. Tatha turam yutapatim karenavo vikrisyamanam tarasa baliyasa vichokrushurdina dhiyo pare gaja parshni grahas taraitum na chashakan. Seeing suffering Gajendra suddenly pulled away by the strong crocodile, his distressed wives began to cry. The other assistant elephants could not rescue him. So no one was able to help him. Wives, they are weak, what they will do. And other assistants, they could also, they tried, but they could not. No one, as I told yesterday, Raghunath Das Goswami, father, he told, how a father can change the prarabdha karma of a son? Impossible. No one can change that. Only Krishna can change if he wants, but otherwise no one. Also when Narad came to Uttanpad, father of Dhruva, Uttanpad was very distressed. I did that cruel act. Now he went to forest, he's without food, and ferocious animals, they surely ate him. Why I did this? Then Narad told him, no, your son is protected by Supreme Lord. Don't worry. And also, even if he would stay in your lap, he could die. Cannot protect. What is someone's prarabdha karma? No parents, no anyone can change that. So it depends on Krishna's will. He's giving the fruits. And he can change if he wants. To a surrendered soul, he may change. So no one can rescue you unless Krishna rescues you, because he's the only protector and only maintainer. Others may only be instrumental. Once, when Bhishma was on those bed of arrows, and he was speaking about dharma to Yudhishthir Maharaj, Krishna told him, you have to go to Bhishma. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj was very depressed. So many people were killed because of me in that Kurukshetra war. Then Bhishma told no. It was in there. No, first he told that story that once there was one widow lady. She was a devotee. She had one 12 or 13-year-old son, and she sent him to forest, not for the first time, but that time to pick some flowers for her puja, for Diti. He went to forest and there was picking flowers and one snake bit him and died immediately. One hunter saw, it is in Mahabharata you will find, one hunter saw and he became angry on that snake. He caught her and took the dead body of that child and took them both to that mother in front of her. And hunter said, "Mother, I saw your son didn't do any harm to that snake. He was picking flowers, but suddenly that snake bit him. So you order me. I will kill her right away, now, here in front of you, I will kill her." Then that mother, she was a devotee, she said, "What is the use? If you kill her, then will that bring my child back? No, it will not." Then that hunter, no, but she must be killed, she is guilty. Then that snake said, "No, I am not guilty. I was from within, I was inspired by Yamaraj. Because so many people, they are passing that way. But I did not feel the need to bite anyone. But when this child came, I was forced from within by Yamaraj to bite him." Then that hunter became angry on Yamaraj. He said, "Oh, then Yamaraj is guilty." And he brought Yamaraj also. No, he said Yamaraj is guilty. Then Yamaraj himself came and said, "No, I am not guilty. I inspired, that is true, but I am not guilty. You don't know the past life of that boy. In past life, he was quarreling with one his friend and he killed him brutally when they were quarreling. So for that reason, now he had to get this. This snake is only instrumental, but the cause is his karma. So we don't know what we did, but whatever is happening, it is happening by the will of Krishna. And without any injustice. Cannot happen, because everything is under control of Krishna. There is no injustice. That is why, as long as we blame others for our own suffering, we are in ignorance and we cannot do bhajan properly. It's very difficult, but this is basic. But unless we practice basic, once I heard, "No, why you are only speaking these basic topics? We already know everything. We heard this long time ago. You speak Ras Lila, all this." Then I said, "We are not practicing basics. That is the problem. This is not only for hearing. It is for applying, practicing. As long as we blame others, not accepting the law of karma, we cannot advance. We cannot understand what is Ras Lila actually." Also, our Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he told to his disciples, when they went without taking his permission, they went to Radhakunda to do bhajan in secluded place, like saying, "We will think of Radha Krishna Lila and we will serve, to do bhajan in secluded place." Then Prabhupada wrote that song, Vaishnav Ke. What kind of Vaishnav you are? For the sake of name and fame, like you are such a big bhajananandi, you want to do Harinam in secluded place, that is all cheating. Why? Because in Lila also, you have to serve under the guidance of Varshavana Videita, means Lalita, Vishaka, Rupa Manjari, all where you were assigned, you will have to serve under their guidance, not independently. So if you are not practicing this principle here in this world, to follow the order of Guru, then there is no chance of you at any time getting the service in the lila, because you're not following this principle here. By this you can qualify. And now Manjari herself came as Prabhupada, and without taking his permission, without taking permission of Guru, you want to do some kind of bhajan. That is never bhajan. It is kevala koitam, total cheating. You are depriving yourself and everyone else. By the grace of Guru we get service. And for maintenance also. That maintenance which will be favorable for devotion, that is given by Guru. So, in that song, Prabhupada wrote that very carefully you have to understand the difference between a liberated soul and conditioned soul. Don't mistake one for another. And what is Falgu Vairagya and what is Yukta Vairagya? Don't mix this. Don't mistake this. And he said you have to very clearly hear the instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Sanatana Goswami. Because that is basic, that is Sambandha Gyan. We already heard many times, but we did not realize that. There one verse is there. When one serves Krishna under the guidance of Guru, then he can be rescued from Maya and get the service. One verse is there. So this is basic Sambandha first, then Abhideya. Who am I? I am not direct servant of Krishna. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. So this we have to practice. And Gurudev gave one example, that because this is foundation. If foundation is not good, then whole building will fall down. If foundation is not good. So if in devotion foundation is not proper, basics are not properly followed and realized, then what you will understand other things. So Gurudev gave one example when in our Chandigarh Math, Parangurudev got that land because everyone was attracted, those important persons of the city. First they rejected, but when they met him, they gave him that land in one part of park you saw there. So then they made a plan. They first made a plan. Those mayor and all those, what kind of temple? And Parangurudev rejected because it was some modern type something. Then Parangurudev said, what, we should now give up our Sanatan Dharma for these modern things. No, I don't want. Then somehow they agreed, okay, we will make nine side dome temple. Then Parangurudev accepted that. And there was one person who donated a large amount of money for the construction of that temple. And he said, by this you will be able to build whole structure. Then. And that money was given by Parangurudev to engineer, that one famous there in Chandigarh. And he spent that whole money for only foundation. Then Parangurudev asked, what you did? That money was enough for a whole structure, that person told me, but you did not erect anything. Just for a foundation you spent all that money. Then that engineer said, yes, because Swamiji, you have to understand that this dome will be very high. And the weight of that is also calculated and everything. So if foundation is not good, then that cannot stand. It will fall down. That is why such foundation was necessary, because of that height. So then Parangurudev understood. Because we are not engineers, we don't understand, we don't know. That person was not who gave donation, but this engineer understood. So like that, if there is no foundation, why you are all the time speaking same things? We already heard so many times. This is all basic. We want to hear Radha Krishna Lila, all this. We like those stories, but we don't like all this karma and all this, because there is a necessity. Why Mahaprabhu heard Dhruva Pralacharit so many times? Why our Guru Vargas, they explain this Gajendra Moksha during Kartik? We may think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give Gopi Bhav, Manjari Bhav. What is the use of hearing this Gajendra Moksha? You will find in that verse by Srinath Chakravarti that for the teaching of Mahaprabhu you will find evidence in Bhagavatam. It is not mentioned in 10th Canto Bhagavatam. It is said in Bhagavatam. You will find evidence for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. Everything is necessary. That is why Mahaprabhu also heard himself. Because without practicing those things, we cannot get that. We sing that song, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori, so Parshat Suyadam Sahavatori, Atyanta Durlava Prem Kori Varedan, Shikaya Sharanagati Bhakati Rutran. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of compassion for all jivas, he appeared with his own dham and with his associates to bestow highest type of prema. Atyanta Durlava, very rare, most valuable, highest type of prema. But how? He taught Sharanagati. That is, from our side, we have to do that. Otherwise, we cannot receive. So this topic is about Sharanagati, exclusive, one-pointed Sharanagati. Without this basis, there can be no actual devotion to Krishna. Who is the real protector? Who is the real maintainer? All this. We are in false ego. How we will serve Krishna? So this topic is important, which we are hearing. Gajendra was so powerful, we cannot imagine how powerful. But when crocodile came, and no one could rescue him, and now we will see whether he can rescue himself. It came by the will of Krishna, Deva, that came. Niyu dhyator evam ibhendra nakrayor vikarshator antarato bahir mitah samach sahasram vyagaman mahipate sapranayos chitram amam sata maraha. O king, as the elephant and crocodile fought in this way without dying, pulling one another in and out of the water, 1,000 years passed. Upon seeing the fight, the devatas were very surprised. Elephant tried to pull out because he's the animal of land, and crocodile was pulling him in because he's the animal of water. So they were fighting like this 1,000 years, not one day, 1,000 years. And all demigods, they were astonished to see such a great fight. Tato Gajendrasya mano balau jasam kalena dirghena mahan abhut vyaya vikrishya manasya jale vasi dato viparyo bhut sakalam jalau ka saha. Thereafter, because of being pulled into the water for many years, the elephant became depleted of his mental, physical and sensual strength he lost. The crocodile, on the contrary, being an animal of the water, increased completely in enthusiasm, physical strength, and sensual power. Here, Bishnu Thakur said, Sakala means he became completely full in his strength, not partially strong, means crocodile. He could get his foot in the water, but the elephant could not get. Only water he could drink, but no food. Itham Gajendra sa yada pa sankatam pranasya dehi vivasho yadrichaya aparayan atma vivokshane chiram dadyo imam buddhim atha vyapadyata. When the king of the elephants saw that he was helpless by fate, that he could not save himself, and that his life was in danger, he thought for a long time and finally got intelligence. Vishnu Thakur explains, he thought, Gajendra, this is my karma. When he thought in that way, he suddenly got intelligence because he accepted. This is my karma. He did not blame anyone. This is knowledge. To understand it is my karma. If one admits and accepts, then that will give him knowledge. But if we all the time try to see the fault in outside us, in others, in environment, all this, then we are totally in ignorance. So elephants saw my wives, they could not do anything. My other friends, elephants, they could not do anything to help me. I tried with my full strength, and you can see how powerful he was. He would kill anyone stood in front of him, those ferocious animals. Mountain was trembling by the weight of his body, but now he fought for 1,000 years and he lost all strength. And on the other side, crocodile increased. He was fully strong. So now Gajendra saw that is in front of me. It is my karma. I will die. But because he accepted as his karma, then intelligence came. Because if we blame others, we will prolong our karma. I also have personal experience of this by the grace of Gurudev and Krishna. How, until you accept it as your own defect, then it is impossible to solve that. It will only prolong. How much you try to solve in a wrong way, it will increase and prolong, long. You can never. But first you have to accept this, and then proper solution will be revealed. Then by that solution you can solve, otherwise not. So here, Namam ime gyataya aturam gaja kutah karinyah prabhavanti mochitum grahena pashena vidhatur avrito pyaham chatam yami param parayanam. Other elephants, yes, I did not know this coming. The other elephants who were my friends and relatives could not rescue me from this danger. What then to speak of my wives? It is by the will of Providence that I have been attacked by this crocodile, and therefore I shall seek shelter of the Supreme Lord, who is the shelter of everyone. This verse explains his intelligence. This is Bishnu Chakur Thakur's commentary. These elephants cannot free me. What to speak of my wives? Because I am caught in the noose of fate, in the form of the crocodile, I surrender to the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Shelter, even though I am an ignorant animal. Because Krishna says in Gita, whoever will take shelter of me, I will give him protection. But we have to really take shelter. We want to, by our own effort, want to know and do, but we cannot. When the fruit is coming, and why we are in this bondage, because this crocodile represents this worldly bondage. And there is a cause why we are bound by this. Like elephant is free, but when he entered the water, then crocodile caught him. And in the water, elephant is weak. Like the jiva, we are free. But when we don't want to serve Krishna, we want to enjoy Maya, we enter there, then Maya catches us. And as long as you don't remove the cause of why you are in bondage of Maya, that is aversion to Krishna, offense to Krishna, it is impossible by your own effort that you can be rescued. Impossible. No chance. We may try to solve problems, but it is impossible. So here also Gajendra understood. I could not. So, because it is by the will of Providence, so I will take shelter of Supreme Lord. He is omnipotent. Yah kaschanesho balinon ta koragat prachanda vegat abhidhavato brisham bhitam prapannam paripatiyad bhayan mrityu pradhavati aranam tam imahi. I take shelter of the Supreme Lord, whose powers cannot be understood, who protects the surrendered souls who are afraid of the strong, quick snake of time, which constantly pursues them and from which death itself flees. Here Bishnu Chakur Thakur is commenting, who is the person to whom you surrender? This verse describes the Lord. It is in Shruti, Taittiriya Upanishad, Bishasmad vatah pavate bishadeti suryah, Bishasmad agnish chandras chamrityur dhavati panchama. The wind blows out of fear of the Lord. The sun rises out of fear of the Lord. Fire, the moon, and death, the fifth person, flee out of fear of the Lord. Even death, you see. So this is the end of this chapter, but tomorrow, if there will be time, I want to remember some examples which Gurudev gave. One very quickly I will give. In Shastra it is there. One deer, female deer, was suddenly found herself in a very difficult situation. Behind her, no, in front of her, one hunter came with arrow to shoot her. And on the sides, she wanted to run into forest, but there was forest fire on both sides. And behind her, there was ocean with big waves. She cannot swim in that ocean. So that is inevitable. Helpless or like this situation. But she also took shelter of Supreme Lord. And his powers are such, here Gajendra is saying, no one can understand. She took shelter of Supreme Lord. Then Supreme Lord came in the form of a very big storm. Such storm that hunter became afraid and ran away. That rain extinguished the forest fire and she was safe, free. We cannot understand how, what he can do, but he can do everything. He can do everything. We should not beat our head with our brain. It is beyond our comprehension what he can do. If we think by our own intelligence and like this, that is all limited and we will increase more problem. We have to take absolute shelter to Krishna openly, giving up our all vanity and everything, pride. I can know. Then when we really surrender, then Krishna will make some arrangement which is totally beyond our imagination to maintain us and to protect us if we take shelter. So there are other examples also, if tomorrow there will be time, because Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj and Murari Gupta and Ras Lila topic is there. So if there will be any time, otherwise later on.